Ever imagine designing your own sportswear?
Yeah.
No, not just like picking a logo or something, but like the whole thing, fabrics, features, like all of it.
The whole shebang.
Yeah. Well, today's deep dive is all about a company that's making that a reality. Hamd Textile Industries.
And it's not just for people that want a custom jersey. This is a global operation.
Oh,
They
yeah.
make everything from MMA gear to like high-tech winter jackets.
Wow.
It's really a fascinating look at how customized apparel is becoming more and more accessible these days.
So where are we going to learn all this?
Our source material is their website,
Okay.
Hamd Textile Industries website. It's a one-stop shop to figure out what they're all about.
Okay, but we're going a little bit deeper than just like the About Us page.
Right. We're going to figure out what makes them tick. Like, what are their values and what can that tell us about the future of the fashion industry?
I like it.
It's a great example of how a company's philosophy can be reflected in its products,
Yeah.
processes, even its global reach.
Okay, let's get into it then. Let's start with some basics. Hamd's been around since 2003, based in Pakistan.
Uh-huh.
But here's where it gets interesting. They're really deeply committed to ethical labor practices.
Yeah, and they're not just saying that. They're actually doing it.
Yeah.
Working to ensure fair wages and safe working conditions for the people that work for them, which is, unfortunately not always a given in this industry.
Yeah, especially in that part of the world.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's really refreshing to see a company taking these issues seriously.
Yeah.
And it's not just local markets. They ship globally. DHL, FedEx, UPS, all the big ones. And get this, low minimum order quantities.
Yeah, that's a deliberate strategy on their part. Makes it easier for people to get custom apparel.
Okay, yeah.
So they're not just focused on the big brands, right? They want individuals, small businesses, anyone with a vision to bring it to life.
That makes sense. Speaking of variety, their product range is seriously impressive. I was looking at their website. It's like a fashion United Nations over there.
What do you mean?
We're talking jiu-jitsu belts right next to puffer jackets, baseball uniforms right alongside yoga wear.
And this is all part of their vision. They want to make customized fashion achievable for everybody. So they don't want to just limit themselves to one little market.
Right.
They're embracing a wide range of needs, Lots of different interests.
It's a lot. But how do they actually make all this stuff? And to a high standard?
Their website actually has a section called Our Workflow, which is pretty cool. It gives you a detailed look at how they do it.
Okay.
It's multi-step. It all starts with pattern making. What I found interesting was the emphasis on pre-production samples.
Oh, okay.
So you, as the customer, actually get to see and approve a sample before they go into full production.
Smart move.
Yeah. That way, everybody's on the same page. And it minimizes any costly mistakes or unhappy customers later.
Exactly. So then what?
Then comes fabric sourcing.
Which must be a nightmare.
Considering all the different materials they use,
Yeah.
Then cutting, printing, sewing, all the main manufacturing steps.
And they really emphasize quality control at every stage. So it's not just about churning out clothes. It's about maintaining high standards the whole time.
That's good, especially with customized apparel. People are investing in something unique, so the quality has to match. Right?
Absolutely. You have to build trust with the customer and get a reputation for excellence.
For sure.
Finally, they pack it all up and ship it directly to you.
It sounds like a well-oiled machine.
Yeah, it is. Designed to make the whole process as smooth as possible. And that efficiency is key to them being able to offer these low minimum orders and competitive pricing. They've streamlined everything to make customization more accessible.
Okay, so we've talked about their commitment to ethical labor, massive product range, their efficient production. But there's another layer to their philosophy that's really important, sustainability.
Yeah, they're really big on environmental safety in their production process. This isn't just a trendy thing for them. It's a core value. It's baked right into how they operate. We're going to get more into that a bit later. But first, I kind of want to shift gears a little. I want to talk about the impact this kind of accessible customization could have on the fashion industry as a whole. It's one thing to say you're sustainable, but it's another to actually do it.
Right.
So what are they doing? What specific things to minimize their environmental impact?
They're taking a multi-pronged approach.
Okay.
One thing is, they're getting their fabrics from suppliers that are also committed to the environment.
Okay, so it matters where the materials come from.
Exactly. They're thinking about the whole supply chain.
I see.
And then on top of that, they're focused on reducing waste in their own process. They've got systems in place to minimize fabric scraps
Makes sense.
and recycle what they can.
Yeah, I mean, waste is lost money, right?
It is, but for them, it goes beyond just the money. It's about minimizing their entire footprint.
Okay.
They even talk about reducing water and energy use in their facilities.
Interesting. So sustainability is like built into every part of their business.
It's not just an afterthought. It's really core to who they are.
Can we go back to the production process for a minute?
Yeah.
I'm still blown away by how they manage to make so many different products.
Yeah.
All with this seemingly high quality.
It shows you how much expertise they have and how adaptable they are. They're not just like a one-trick pony. They have to know about all sorts of different fabrics and manufacturing techniques and design stuff.
Right, just think about making a running shirt compared to a winter jacket. Those are totally different.
For sure. And they're working with all kinds of like special fabrics, waterproof materials.
Yeah.
Plus they offer embroidery, printing, all this extra stuff that just adds more complexity.
It's like they have a secret lab where they're always experimenting.
Maybe.
But it's not just the technical side of things, right?
No.
They're also focused on design and creativity.
Right. That's what makes them different from like a normal factory. They're not just churning out the same thing over and over again. They're giving customers control over what they wear.
It's like self-expression through clothing.
Exactly.
And that's where that pre-production sample process is so smart. They're actually collaborating with the customers to make sure that the final product is really what they want.
It's way more personalized than you normally see. They're like a partner in the whole design process.
I like that.
Helping the customers bring their ideas to life.
And they even do free design services.
I know, right?
It's like having your own stylist who's also like a manufacturing expert all in one.
Yeah, it's a really smart way to remove those barriers for people who maybe don't have the money or the knowledge to design clothes from scratch.
So we've talked about ethical labor, sustainable practices, their amazing product range, and this customer-focused approach. But like, what does all this mean for the average person? Why should they care about a company in Pakistan making custom sportswear?
I think there are a couple of things here. First, this company, Hamd, is a great example of how businesses can operate ethically and sustainably, even in a globalized world. They're showing everybody that you can actually put people and the planet first.
Right.
Without sacrificing quality or how efficient you are.
Yeah, it's a good model to follow.
Right. More companies should try this.
For sure.
Second, their focus on making things custom and accessible is really interesting. They're kind of making fashion more democratic, giving individuals control over what they wear.
It's like you're saying you don't have to settle for what's already out there. You can create your own thing.
Exactly. And that could really change the fashion industry in a big way.
So instead of trying to keep up with the Joneses, they're all just doing our own thing.
Exactly. Expressing our own style without feeling like we have to conform.
I like that. It could lead to a lot more diversity in fashion, right?
For sure. It could reflect a lot of different tastes, different cultures, different identities, and I think that's really cool.
But do you think we lose something if we all just do our own thing? Like there's something to be said for following fashion trends.
That's true. Like, it's fun to complain about the latest trends with your friends, right?
Exactly.
But it's also a way to connect with people, to show that you belong to a group or something.
Okay, yeah.
So how do you balance wanting to be an individual with wanting to belong, especially in a world where everything is so personalized?
That's a really good question. And I don't know if there's an easy answer.
Right. It's something we all have to figure out as technology keeps changing everything.
Yeah, how we live, work, and even how we dress.
What's clear is that companies like Hamd are really pushing the boundaries in the fashion industry. They're challenging the status quo, making us rethink how we think about clothes.
And that's what makes this deep dive so interesting.
Yeah.
It's not just about sportswear. It's about the future of fashion.
Right.
So, as we start to wrap things up, I want to leave you with something to think about.
Okay.
In a world where you could design anything, what would you make? What would your ultimate wardrobe look like? And what would it say about you?
It's a good question.
We're going to take a quick break, but when we come back, we're going to explore some of the downsides of all this customization.
Okay.
And what it could mean for the future of the fashion industry. So don't go anywhere. We've been talking about all the good stuff with this custom clothing.
Right.
But I'm sure there are some downsides too, right, to all this customization.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Like what?
Well, one of the big things is scalability.
Okay.
Can these companies like Hamd keep up if like everybody wants custom clothes?
Yeah, that's a good point.
Can they still be ethical and, sustainable if they're producing way more stuff?
It's one thing to do it small scale,
Yeah.
But if they're huge, can they still do it the same way?
Exactly. And how custom can things really be?
Right.
If you're trying to make stuff for everybody. Plus, there's the cost.
Yeah, we talked about that a little bit. People may be buying less, but better quality stuff.
Right.
But custom clothes are always going to be more expensive, aren't they?
Than just buying something off the rack?
Yeah, probably. So is this whole idea of sustainable, personalized fashion, is it just going to be for rich people?
That's definitely something to think about.
It's a whole other problem, if only some people can afford it.
Right. And it's something that these companies will have to figure out as they grow.
Yeah.
Maybe there are new technologies, that can bring the cost down without having to sacrifice quality or, doing things the right way.
Maybe some kind of mix. Like you have some basic designs, but people can still customize them a little bit.
Yeah.
So it's affordable, but still personalized.
That could work. It'll be interesting to see what happens.
Yeah, for sure.
And it's not just about money. There's the social side of things, too.
What do you mean?
Well, right now, fashion trends, it's like a few big brands.
Yeah.
And influencers, they kind of decide what's in.
Yeah.
But what if everybody's designing their own stuff? That could really change things.
So instead of trying to keep up with everybody else,
right,
we're all just expressing our own style?
Yeah, exactly. You don't have to worry about what's in right now.
Yeah.
You just do your own thing.
That sounds pretty cool. I like that.
It could mean fashion's a lot more diverse.
Yeah.
It could reflect all kinds of different things, tastes, cultures, all of it. That's exciting to me.
But maybe we lose something too if we all go off and do our own thing.
Like what?
Well, there's something kind of fun about following trends, right?
That's true. It's something to talk about with your friends, even if you're complaining about it. It's a way to connect with people.
Yeah.
To show that you're part of something.
So how do we find that balance?
Yeah, how do you balance being an individual, but also still feeling like you belong? Yeah, it's a tough one.
It is. Especially with everything becoming so personalized these days.
It's a question for all of us, something we all have to think about as technology changes the world.
Yeah, how we live, how we work, how we dress, it's all changing.
But what's clear is that these companies, like this Hamd company, they're doing something new, they're pushing the boundaries.
They're shaking things up.
Yeah, they're challenging how we think about clothes, and that's what makes this whole conversation so interesting.
It is. It's not just about sportswear. It's about where fashion's going in the future.
Exactly.
So, I want to leave you with one last thought. If you could design anything you wanted, what would you make? What would your perfect wardrobe look like? What would that say about you? That's all for this week's Deep Dive. Thanks for joining us.